Hey all, Razor here. Just going through a possible setup. This is what I did to get the bare minimum for the high score event to unlock Sora and Simba. Um, Now this is not necessarily ideal. This is just how I did it. So we'll see how this works out. And then I'll tell you what my thoughts are as I'm walking through the run, and then just kind of like explain like why or what you might be able to do if you don't have certain things. The first thing I have here is the Sora and Kairi, and this is for the counters because the counters are brutal in this fight. They really are. Um, I'm not doing this for damage at all. It's basically worthless in that sense. It has no traits, whatever. It's not even 7-star. That's okay. I got lucky. I got KH2 Kairi, so that takes care of all buffs and debuffs right away. Um, and then this Sora or key art, I should say, is actually for damage purposes. Not a lot of percent, but he does do aerial damage, which is good. Uh, this is mostly for percent because, as you can see, I have poison max. I don't have any gauge counters, and the big issue with this guy is this right here is brutal. So 12 gauges right there. So he's more of a placeholder for percent than anything. With the Toy Story boost going, this is a really effective medal right now. For the rest of this month, this is going to be one of the top medals to use, along with Buzz if you got it. Those are definitely like the strongest. And then I went and I said, screw it. I stopped chasing this guy. I only bought one of them, and so I ended up using my Mickey. So if you see, I have no traits. I put second chance 3 on him because he's not really a damage dealer. He does okay damage, but he's just meant to be per percent. Okay, so on top of that, my final piece is out of my friends. This is probably my best choice here as far as percent because that brings me up to 94%. So let's just dive right in and see what happens. So yeah, basically the main premise of this strategy is, do as much damage with the primes while, this guy right here doesn't really do a lot of damage, but it will at least set counters up. Because when you get to certain fights, it goes down quick. I chose this route because I found it's the easiest for this setup. I've done the left route. I think that's the magic route, the blue route. And it works, but I just didn't get quite the same output as I did here. I haven't really experimented with too much, so like I said, this is like bare minimum stuff here. Not really intended to be like the end all be all. So this is just to give you an idea as to like what my thoughts are. Alright, so that fight right there is kind of like almost like a counter check, if you will. Like some games have DPS checks. That was a counter check to see if you can get through with that. Because if your setup is wrong, you're going to lose that last fight anyways. So make sure you have some kind of counter setup. If you got the new Miguel and Dante thing, that could work. That can help with counters a lot. The other issue obviously is gauges. Like this is just such with their requirements, having none of the Kairis or Xions is like a percentage thing. That is rough. So you pretty much have to eat one slot for gauges. You just have to at least give that up. And if you got anything with EA in that sense, that's a good go. Otherwise, you have to just bank on having ridiculous skills, like lots of SP skills built up. And if you don't have that, then honestly, I'm not so certain that this is even attainable. It's almost getting to a point now where Cena is like, hey, you want to get our HSC? That's cool. You got to have literally everything maxed out with the best skills. So give us lots of money. And I mean, I get that's the purpose of a game like this, but yeah, it gets a little ridiculous sometimes. As you see at this point, I'm not going to be doing any damage with that Kairi Sora combo at all. It's just for counters. Just for counters. Because even with anything else set up, eventually I start seeing counters go up way too fast. I think these guys have blue counters coming up, not in this one, but in the next one. It's just too much. Now, at this point, I'm actually going to stop using auto because I don't want Sykes going twice. It's way too much gauge. Way too much gauge. Yeah, so it does decent damage, even though it doesn't have a skill that does damage. So that's nice. But even if you don't have it, I've actually done this run. I'm actually trying this a little different than I did last time. I actually did this run where he was my lead thing, and he was only doing 1 damage, and my Kairi and Sora was doing like 300,000. So I mean, that can adjust if that's what you need. But as you can see, this is eating up a lot of gauges, so I can't even really use this shared one. I just can't afford it. So I just go this route. And then what happens is, now, whatever they're at, their gauges may be, now I can reset them. And that's the whole point of Kairi Sora, which I'm pretty sure that's why they put that as one of the percentage-based ones, because it really does make that difference. And here's... So basically, that's my strategy. Now, if you're going to switch some things out, it's kind of hard for me to really say, like, what the best thing to replace what with. It depends on what you have. Like, I'll hit one person. Okay. If you have any Toy Story medals, I mean, those hit the hardest basically right now. Except for, like, maybe a couple of spare different medals out there. But, yeah, as you can see, I'm cracking these guys down almost within the 2 turns. And unfortunately, I have second chance 3 on my what is it, on my young Xehanort, so that lets me survive long enough. So yeah, I'm not one of those people who are gonna have like 10 of every medal, and so I can just like load up with the tons of young Xehanorts and just say, oh, I have enough percent, now I can just go and do whatever. And I'm guessing most people out there aren't like that. So this is just kind of giving you an idea. I will say this again, it's going to be very tough if you don't have any kind of Xion or Kairi, like the newer ones. If you don't, you're going to have to buy those, or probably have to copy those. It's just, I can't see another way around. Like, you have to have like a Xion or Kairi EX, like the old ones, and you have to copy those, because you're going to need as much damage as possible. These guys have some pretty ridiculous defenses. So... And then, depending on how lucky you are with trades and setups and whatnot, can really make a difference as well. Let's see here. So I've got him down to 5,100. And then, yeah, so... next round, let's see what happens. I wasn't really paying attention as to, like, what the initial HP was, so... see how close this is to killing them in time. I don't think these guys heal themselves every round like some do, which is good because that always sucks when you have these like close ones. This is my main damage dealer right here because he does a ridiculous amount of damage to them, and this guy follows up pretty well. Considering he doesn't even have a skill, that is pretty impressive. I should be able to take these guys out on this round here. Where this is going to end up, I don't know. We're going to see. Hopefully it gets to the 140 or a little higher. Preferably higher, because I'd like to increase my score. Like I said, I did it a little bit different than I did the first time. So, first time I had my Kairi Sora right here instead of Sykes, and the Sykes was first. And I was trying that, but it just didn't really seem to produce the same amount of damage that this one does. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty comparable. It doesn't really change much. So, and so, basically same amount. Alright, so whether or not I have my Sora, Kairi, or my Sykes first doesn't matter. Anyways, I hope this was informative and helpful to show you some of the ways you can approach this. Yeah, like I said, mine's not ideal. It's what I got and how I did it. If you have any questions or comments, let me know, and I'll catch you later.